Welcome to the latest edition of Chatting with Chuck. I'm your host, Chuck. Today we're going to talk about the solar PV market, and I have Gary Frederick here, who is an Advantech Western Region Sales Manager here with me. So, hey Gary, tell me, what's the current state of that market?
Hey Chuck, good to be with you. I would say it's still very strong. You know, there were concerns once Trump got into office that market, being an alternative energy market, would see some decline, but so far, in 2017, that market's remained extremely strong. We've seen probably 2 gigawatts of solar installations in the first quarter, which is about 2% below what we saw in 2016. And 2016 was a record year. It's really still a very, very strong market. And solar right now represents about 1.6% of electricity generated in the USA. So lots of room to grow.
So Gary, why is the market strong?
You know, I guess you could say probably 3 reasons. In late 2015, Congress extended the solar investment tax credit through 2021, and that's a 30% tax credit on new installation costs. That's for residential, solar PV, solar commercial, utility, and there's really no indication that Trump or Congress are going to look to remove that. Also, another big reason is the cost of solar panels themselves have probably gone down about 30% in the last 2 years, so just the cost of the equipment's gone down. And I would say probably another reason is that a lot of states are still strongly supporting the solar movement. So in California 15 years ago, really California and 1 or 2 other states gave tax credits. But we're now up to 14 states that give tax credits for solar installation, and 41 states have net metering programs in place. And this is a program that if you generate excess solar energy, you can essentially sell it back or get credit back from your utility provider. So the states are continuing to invest in solar.
So Gary, tell me, what monitoring products are used by the solar consumer today and how?
Well, if you look at where the majority of solar projects are in utility, those are remote standalone production power plants, really. They're unmanned. So what the solar utility user is looking to get is data from that plant. So modules that monitor the string combiner boxes, which are basically a string of 10 to 12 solar panels in one box, and they would have an I/O module to look at DC current, DC voltage. Or if you get past that, you might look at a device server type product that's collecting data from Modbus or some other protocol and sending that off somewhere via wire, wireless, or some other cell technology back to a central facility to monitor these remote solar plants. You also are looking at perhaps an industrial type gateway device, a computer on site that's rugged, collect data and store data and pass it up. And in some cases, or in most cases, some sort of SCADA type software, HMI software.
So what about Advantech products for this market?
Yeah, Advantech has a nice breadth of products that fit well in this market. You know, one of Advantech's first products developed 30 years ago was a remote I/O module based on Modbus. And Modbus is pretty ubiquitous in solar plants. Most of the inverters, a lot of the other products speak Modbus. Our I/O modules speak Modbus. We've got analog input modules that are used to read temperature, thermocouple readings, irradiance readings. So any kind of analog input is ideal in a solar plant to get temperature readings, sunlight reading, wind readings. In addition to that, we've got industrial computing platforms. We call it our UNO product line. That's a high temp, wide temp industrial PC. We've got our ECI product line that is a device server. And so those will take in Modbus or other serial inputs, and they'll send it back out via wireless Ethernet or wireless cell modem or wired LAN. In addition, we've got a product called Web Access. Most of our customers have their own software, but if someone didn't have their own SCADA software, we've got a product called Web Access, which gives you a dashboard. You can create a nice model of your plant. You can display information about the plant, what it's producing, what the status is of the solar panels themselves. So we've got quite a breadth of product that fits nicely into solar PV installation and monitoring.
That's great, Gary. Lastly, what do you think the future trends of this market are?
Well, I think is just in general, people see the benefits of solar. And as an alternative energy source, and as the prices continue to decrease in the panels themselves, I think you'll find not only federal governments or state governments, but local communities looking for really creative ways to fund and install solar plants that provide this basically free energy from the sun to businesses, to homes. So I think, the future is bright in solar. Kind of corny, I know, but the future is looking bright. And the next thing that we're seeing with solar is when the sun's out and you're producing energy, if you can't use all that energy, it essentially goes to waste. So what we're starting to see are companies that are called energy storage systems, right? So they're providing a way to store this excess energy, whether it's from solar or wind or some other alternative energy source. And you store that energy, let's say in the daytime you're creating a lot of energy from the sun. At nighttime you would then use that energy that you've stored. And in a lot of cases, that's still probably 90% of the cases, it's battery storage, right? And what we're seeing with battery storage is a lot of the controllers that monitor the batteries are CAN bus based. So you've got a CAN bus, a product that speaks CAN bus, that's a nice fit. But we do see this energy storage system, or ESS, in these kind of microgrid solutions attached to wind and solar, just saving that excess energy to be used at off hours when those solar plants aren't able to produce.
Well, that's great, Gary. I appreciate you taking the time to give us a little insight on the solar market. This has been Chatting with Chuck. I'm your host, Chuck. Please stay tuned for future episodes.